Rob Cooper, First News, Prince Rupert.
Rand Assad, First News, at the Deep Creek Hatchery.
For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Tyler Noble.
For Health Watch, I'm Kathy Brooks.
For CFTK-TV News, I'm Sarah Consmo in Prince Rupert.
For CFTK-TV News, I'm Artie Cole in Terrace.
For CFTK-TV News in Smithers, I'm Sarah Comedina.
I'm Mike Kelly reporting. Now let's send it back to the studio.
Hi, I'm Hillary Johnson, and welcome to Flashback, where we take a look at local stories from years gone by. Today we go back to July 2nd, 1991, where radio personality got her big break.
AM 59 CFTK, that's new for the Rembrandts. It's just the way it is, baby. It's 20 minutes now before 4, and still to come before 4 o'clock. You know, we've heard of the bungee jumping, right? Well, can you imagine at 86 years old, skydiving for the first time? It's true, it's true. There's a woman who's done it. She's gone into the Guinness Book of World Records. I've got that story coming up for you still before 4 o'clock.
You've heard the voice.
Checking AM 59's 2020 weather. It looks good for the rest of this evening.
Now,
anyway, if you're
here's the face. Meet Renita Nays, the one and only female sound of Terrace's AM 59. Bet you never thought she looked like that.
It's strange when people recognize, you know, you'll be signing a check or writing something down, and they'll look at your name and you're not at all what I pictured, and you don't know if that's bad or good.
Renita's relatively new to the Northwest. She was born and raised in Edmonton. She took a broadcasting course shortly after high school, but she didn't pursue a career in radio right away. Instead, Renita became a flight attendant. She spent 3 years with the airlines. Then her husband got a job in Terrace.
There wasn't an airline based out of Terrace that I could fly with, and I heard there was a couple of radio stations in Terrace, so I applied, and here I am.
And there she was, working 6 to midnight when she first started. It was a tough shift, made especially for the new kid on the block. Renita admits going from in the air to on the air had its moments. Initially, she felt lonely and uncomfortable.
Although you're talking to a lot of people, you're not talking to anybody. There's only you and the mic, and that's what you've got to kind of get over, because flying was, it was very public. You were out in the open all the time. You were dealing with new people all the time. So it was a really dramatic change, actually, but
that hidden audience made learning the ropes a frightening experience.
You know, I started out when I was taking the course in school. They teach you very basic things that are very helpful, but very basic things. The time that you really learn is when you are on the air. And the thing with this kind of a job is there's no room for messing up. You mess up and everybody knows about it.
Once Renita became used to the idea of being behind a microphone, it was time to get used to Terrace. Yet another dramatic change.
And I remember when we first came up, there was still a lot of talk with City Council about opening up for Sunday shopping. I thought, opening up for Sunday shopping? You've got to be kidding. I mean, you know, this is something that was debated, it seemed like eons ago in Edmonton, that kind of thing. I was shocked that there was no 7-Eleven, things like that, goofy little things. You know, you wanted to check out all the different movies at all the different theaters. Well, you have to get used to that. But what I do like about it, much more than the city, is that the difference, the friendliness in people. There was snow this morning. Did you know that, Mr. Weatherman?
This big city girl adapted quickly. She also moved up the career ladder at a quick pace, moving from midday announcer to program director within a year and a half. She's held the post ever since. With the title comes an endless amount of work.
You have, first of all, your show prep, your show preparation that you do for your shift. That can take anywhere, you know, from half hour to an hour before you go on the air. Then you do your little on-air stint, and then it's production, which is the commercials. And that usually takes a good 2 or 3 hours. There's a lot that's involved, and then on the programming side, you have a lot of demonstration tapes that are coming in from not only different people, you know, kids that want to get into the business, but also shows, you know, show ideas. So you listen to those things. You're programming the station. The other hat, I guess you could say, is music director. When all the music comes in, I've got to figure out what's going to be played as far as our Canadian music goes, as far as the night music that Peter Stash plays at night. A lot of different things are involved in the job, but I mean, again, you know, the main gist of it, what people would think, is being on the air.
Renita's job does keep her busy, and at home it's no different. That's when the family duties come into play. She's the typical career woman / mother, With less than a year in the business, she took 3 months off to have a baby.
You gotta cook them some more because they're not
Brooklyn
quite
is
done yet.
2.5 now.
Put the spoon on the stove. Why? Because it'll melt.
It's funny now, you know, she's starting to recognize my voice on the radio, and she'll say, "That's my mommy on the radio." It's kind of neat.
The hectic pace doesn't seem to slow Renita down. She says playing the executive mom comes natural.
There's no problem. I haven't experienced any problems. It hasn't been cumbersome in the least to have a career and to have a family as well. Anybody could do it. Absolutely anybody could do it. I didn't have any problem whatsoever.
Perhaps anyone could do it, but could they do it quite like Renita? She's a shining success at home and at the office.
Good girl.
10 minutes before 4, you know, I don't know if I could do it. I always thought I could jump out of a plane, but I you know, once it came down to the crunch, I don't know if I could do it. But this lady, that's how she celebrated her 86th birthday. She lives in Florida. Her name is Manya Joyce.
There's no doubt about it. Renita catches everybody's attention with the stories she tells. It's how the audience gets to know her. It's all part of a disc jockey's life. And I'm sure Renita Nays will have plenty more anecdotes to share for years to come.
Just coming up to 4 minutes before 4, broadcast news is coming up next after Barney Bentel and the legendary Hearts. Life could be worse on AM 59 CFTK.